Please support this channel by giving this video a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and turn on alerts for more Excel videos like this one. Today I want to show you a great way to start building a dashboard. Let's say you wanted to create a search function on your dashboard for the same group of data. This could be dates, names, values. It would be much easier to do this from a drop-down list. This would also help you remember the options. So I've created this sample worksheet, and we're going to use this as our data sheet. And on here I got the date, order number, sales rep, city, item code, description, quantity, cost, unit price, and total sales. Again, a lot of data. These data sheets sometimes can be humongous, and it's really challenging to sort through the data or do a quick search. So what you want to do is create a dashboard, and I've already started one here for this exercise. And what I want to do is be able to have a search feature here in the cell, and then whatever I have in here, it would automatically pull up the first sale and the total sales. So the first thing I want to do is search by sales rep. So to create our drop-down list, what we're going to do is we're going to be using a tool called data validation. So to start, we want to select our cell that we want our drop-down list in. We're coming up here to the top, and on the toolbar we're going to click data, and we're going to go over data validation. You're going to want to click on the bottom right hand corner here for the drop-down list, data validation, and then this window pops up. So what we're going to want to do is change the validation criteria. So we're going to click here, and we're going to want to go down to list. Now on the list field, we're going to want to go down to source, and now we want to select our range. So the first cell that you select will be the first cell on our list. So what I like to do is I always like to create a title for it, and that way it's always going to be the first thing that you see on that list in the cell before you select it. Now this is a great feature to do if you're going to be sharing your sheet with colleagues so that they understand that they're going to have to go in there and click on that list to select one of the options below. So let's select the first cell and then drag it all the way down. The other thing I like to do is I like to add a few extra spots below. And the reason for this is if I ever add more names to this list, then it'll automatically be on that list. If we cut it down, we select only to Linda, and we add anything below Linda, you won't be able to see it on your drop-down list. So what you would have to do is come back into data validation by selecting the cell, going there, and then editing this source. But for now, like I said, I just add some additional cells below it, and I hit OK. Now you see when we've completed this, the list now, the cell is blank. If you click on here, you can actually see all your options here, and I'm going to go to select one. So like I said, select one will remain almost like a title in that cell, but also identify this cell to let people know to go in and make a selection. And as you can see, we can select a couple names here. You can see that our list is working. The other thing I want to show you is, let's say someone using your sheet comes in here and they just type in a name and they hit enter. It's going to tell them that that an error message window will come up telling them that this value does not match the data validation restrictions defined in the cell. So basically saying that this name is not on the list. We can just hit cancel. Now we can try typing in a name that's on the list. And you can see it accepted the name on the list. So they can either type it in or they can go to the drop-down list. Again, the thing I like about the drop-down list is the fact that, especially like I said, if it's a specific group of names or cities or values, you know what the options are by looking at the list. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is get the first sale for the sales rep. And we can use a VLOOKUP formula to complete this task. So what we want to do is click on the cell. We're going to equals, type in VLOOKUP. Okay, and now you can see here it wants the lookup value, the table array, the column index. So let's go and we'll select this as our lookup value, this cell here. We're going to go over to our data sheet, and our table array is going to be here all the way down. And then you would just do a count over, so that's 8. So we want to make sure it's taking it from the 8th column, which would be our total sales. And then we want it to be an exact match. So we just type in 0 and hit enter. And we can check this, double check this. So Rachel's first sale was $11,439.12. Come over here, go up to Rachel, $11,439.12. So that is correct. And now we can come over and we'll check Sally, and 11,520, and Sally's at 11,520. Perfect. Now I want to create a formula to get the total sales. So I can click on here, and what I can do is I can use the SUMIF formula to complete this. So I can create equals SUMIF, and now we need the range, the criteria, and the sum range. So the range is going to be right here for the sales rep. So you can drag it down all the way like this, or you go right up to the top and just click on there for the entire column. Go back to dashboard. Our criteria is going to be this cell here. And now our range is going to be in column J. And close that off and hit enter. And there we go. Okay, now we can test it out. We can come over to the cell, change the name, and you can see our cell values automatically change based on our search value. So any name that we select on our list, it'll automatically pull up the results. So let's say now we want to change it up and we want to search by city. First thing we need to do is click on the cell, go over to data validation, and now we got to change our source. So this time we're going to search by city, and we can hit OK. And you can see as soon as I did that, nothing changed in my cell because I got to come over here to my list, and once I click down, you can see that all the city names now have been populated on my list. Again, select one could be a great title to identify that someone has to come in here and select an option in order for the data to appear. So I'm just going to go to Toronto, and you can see that an error message comes up in the sales. And we would need to edit our formulas to pull up the city name in order for this to appear. So let's go on the sales formula here. And basically we know we're going to be going, so if we go, let me hit enter, and I'm going to go over to my data sheet. We know now that we're going to be going to city. So instead of column C, we're going to be going to column D. And this can help us out to easily change the formula to pull up the results. So here, I would just need to change up the table array to D and hit enter. Oh, sorry, and I also have to change the number because I'm going to be removing one column, so that goes to 7. And I hit enter, and there's my value. And the same thing for total sales. I just come in here, and I need to change right here my range. So instead of CC, it's going to be D. And I can hit enter. And there's the values there. Now we can click on the cell, and we can test it out. Again, we can come right up to, to Toronto. And just to confirm our data, 11,439.12. And Toronto, first sale, 11,439.12. So again, this could be the beginning of an amazing dashboard where everything you do depends on the checklist and your selection within that checklist. Let me show you another example of how you can add on to your dashboard by utilizing your selection on your checklist. So let me go over here to B, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to insert another column here. Now when I do that, you can actually see when I click on it, it actually brought my checklist over. So how to get rid of this, I want to go over to data validation, click on it, and we're just going to change it to any value. And when we do that, our checklist has gone away, but it still remains in the first one, the first cell that we want to have it there. So I want to add sales rep. So whenever I select a city, I want the sales rep to appear. So to do this, we can just create a VLOOKUP, search, and this will be my value. My table array would be here, and again, I'll just drop it down a little bit in case I add to the list down the road. And it's always going to be the second one, and I want to make it an exact match. And we're going to hit enter. So now you can see Rachel showed up for Toronto, and I can change this as well. And Brampton John showed up, which is amazing. Now if I go down to, you can see here for Linda, I've left off the city name. And I purposely done that because I just wanted to show you, if you go here on the list, you can see there's nothing below Ottawa. But if I come in here, type in Kingston, and hit enter, now Kingston appears. Perfect. So now you can see everything is dependent on the selection in the checklist. Now, the only problem with this dashboard and the way I have it set up is I have multiple cities here. So I have Rachel, who is in Toronto, and Mike, that's in Toronto, meaning multiple results when I select Toronto. So it's always going to pick the first one. So this dashboard will actually work a lot better if it was, the search was the sales rep. And then I changed the sales rep tab to the city. So let's make some changes here so that our dashboard is working properly. So first thing I'm going to do, just going to highlight the city. I'm going to pull it over. Then I'm going to highlight both here. And I'm going to pull it back. So basically I just change positions. Then I'm going to come over to my search. I'm going to go up to data validation. So I clicked on my cell, come over to my list, and I'm going to change it up. So I want it done now by my sales rep. Hit OK. Come over to my list, and I'll select Rachel. So you can see here, everything now, like the sales rep cell changed, the result changed to Toronto. The reason being is if you look here, when I changed it, I put everything back into the same range table array that I originally had. So it worked out well for me for this cell here result. The only thing I need to do is change the title of the city. And now I got to put back my formulas to the way I originally had it. So the first one I got to do is come over here and change this to C and go back to 8. Hit enter. And this one here, I just got to change the range to C and C, so it searches up the rep name. Hit enter, and there we go. Now we can test it out. And you can see everything changes. I've created a link down below for this workbook, so feel free to click on it, download this workbook, and follow along as you watch this video. I'll be doing a more advanced video on dashboards in the future, where I want to show you how to add things like graphs, interactive buttons to your dashboard. But I definitely feel that this video will get you started in the right direction on building a dashboard. In this video, we have used different functions like VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and also SUMIF. I have created videos in the past on these different functions, so please watch those videos if you want to learn more about how to use these functions. Thank you for watching this video. I will be announcing shortly some giveaways, so please stay tuned by watching more videos like this one. I want to give away some prizes once we reach the milestone of 100 subscribers. So to qualify for these giveaways, please hit the subscribe button, turn on alerts, leave a comment related to this video. My only request is please, guys, make sure that it's positive and clean, and I will talk to you soon.